Jennifer Lopez has been fired and also accused of using witchcraft on her ex-husbands. Jennifer Lopez, the global superstar who can do it all, sing, dance, act, and even break the internet with a single outfit, may have found herself in a PR labyrinth that even Houdini couldn't escape. Rumor mill alert, she's allegedly fired and accused of witchcraft. Now, put down your pitchforks, this isn't a Netflix series, it's 2025, baby, and if this isn't viral speculation, did it even happen? I mean, she has been going through it lately though. She had a bug crawling on her neck mid-performance, she got turned away from Chanel. I mean, she's been having a time, just not a good one. Now, first let's tackle the fired side of this saga. Word on various fan channels, whispers that JLo was dropped by her record label, but here's the gag. In 2025, Jennifer Lopez is less label dependent and more label defying. So unless BMG just declared they don't want 500 million fans listening anymore, I mean, this kind of sounds like headline, pandemonium kind of meets clickbait Olympics. But according to the label and multiple sources, they said that despite Jennifer being massively successful and talented, it's been hard for her ever since her last album flopped and failed. I mean, it's been rumored that she has a super hard time finding a label that actually aligns with her. Even her Vegas residency is slow in sales and honestly not doing so hot. I mean, she recently released a single called Birthday, independently though, with some small label, but that's been kind of cringy and not so successful. Now, someone at one of her shows asked her to marry her, and she kind of just joked it off saying, yep, she's been there, done that, and I mean many times, yes we know. Now on to the juiciest part, which is her using witchcraft on Ben Affleck and herself allegedly, and apparently other exes as well. That's right, some corners of the internet are pushing claims that JLo turned to mystical arts to, what exactly? I don't know, keep Jennifer together, make him fall back in love with her. Honestly, it's equal parts campy and cinematic, like Sabrina the Teenage Witch meets, A-list Hollywood romance. Apparently Ben is spooked that JLo may try to basically cast voodoo hexes on him like she allegedly did on her first husband. He actually made a public statement back in the day, this is Ohani Noah, in regards to this, but people are saying even her ability to manifest things throughout her career has been super impressive and on the edge of like witchcraftery. Now, she's also, super into astrology like we know, and, talks a lot about the power of positive affirmations and thoughts, which yeah, I love that for her. And I love that for anyone, really. It's great to have this type of mental outlook. Now, Ohani Noah has claimed she casted many spells on him, sacrificed chickens for spells and other animals, and did so on all of her other partners as well, even including Diddy. I mean, this is wild. Now, no official statement has been made. Neither JLo nor Ben or their reps have confirmed any of this. If there's one thing Jennifer is known for, it's controlling their narrative. I mean, you'd think the pair's PR machines would have kind of dismantled this if there were any truth to it, but crickets. So my takeaway so far, it's entertainment masquerading as scandal, no receipts, just whispers, slideshows, and speculating glamour shots. But let's have fun with this for a second. Imagine the headlines: breaking news, JLo fired, alleged, spells cast on Ben Affleck, film studios fear magical outbursts on set. I mean, it's wild, sure, but until there's a bona fide recording that says abracadabra, I'm fired, or this is a Santeria spell said to keep us together, we're just indulging in summer blockbuster rumors. Bottom line, Jenny from the block may have had rumors thrown her way, but she's famously box office gold. A viral headline doesn't equate to reality, and in this case, it's kind of all smoke, no wand. So here's your takeaway. Judge with skepticism, laugh at the absurdity of it all, and let's actually wait to see what unfolds, because, what do you guys think though? I need more claims to come out to really be spellbound by this one. Jennifer Lopez just got caught cheating, and I've got all the details, so buckle up. Jennifer Lopez is no stranger to the spotlight, but her latest drama isn't about a new album or a red carpet look. It's about her first ex-husband, Ohani Noah, accusing her of cheating. Yes, you heard that right. Ohani, who was married to JLo for a very hot minute back in 1997, is now throwing shade and spilling tea all over social media. Lopez and Ohani Noah were married for only 11 months from 97 to 98. Lopez, who started dating Sean Diddy Combs shortly after her marriage to Noah ended, went on to marry 3 more times. Now, it all started when JLo appeared on Howard Stern's show and said she's never truly been loved by any of her exes. She claimed her past partners were, quote unquote, incapable of loving her. Cue Ohani Noah. who apparently couldn't let that slide. He took to Instagram, calling her out for playing the victim and accusing her of being the problem. He wrote, "Stop putting us down. Stop putting me down with your victim card. The problem is not us, not me. The problem is you." But Ohani didn't stop there. No. He alleged that J-Lo cheated on him during their brief marriage and even hinted at an affair with Sean Diddy Combs. He basically claimed that she lied and cheated, prioritizing fame over the relationship. He added, "You decided to lie, to cheat on me. You begged me to keep the marriage intact to avoid bad press." Now, let's be real, friends. Ohani's accusations, they're pretty bold, right? Like, he's not exactly a stranger to controversy. Remember when he tried to release a honeymoon video of the two of them? Yeah, that happened. So while his claims, they're juicy, sure, but take them with like the smallest grain of salt. This man has been dragging J-Lo and their grievances for like decades now. It's honestly giving obsessed. It's giving move on. It's giving I want another 15 minutes of fame, okay? He also made a point to say Lopez has been loved a few times. He continued to say, "You have been married 4 times and have had countless relationships in between. You've had good relationships, me, for example." And honestly, I don't know, that kind of made me LOL for real. Noah claimed to have moved out, of state to support the singer, leaving his job, family behind to care for her. He said, "You chose fame and fortune, moving a part of our relationship. You decided to lie, to cheat on me. And even though I stayed, I even tried to keep the marriage going and alive. You even begged me to stay because at the time you didn't want bad press caring more about you." He ended up ending this little tiny baby rant by saying, "Tell the truth for once, let people know you are the problem. You should be embarrassed, ashamed of yourself." Damn, that's harsh, right? As for J-Lo, she hasn't responded to Ohani's latest rant. She probably won't, but this isn't the first time they've had a public spat. Back in 2011, Ohani sued her over her song One Love, claiming it referenced him without his permission. Womp womp. That lawsuit didn't go anywhere, obviously, but it shows there's a history of tension between the two. So what's the takeaway here? Jennifer Lopez's love life continues to be as dramatic as one of her music videos. Whether Ohani's accusations are, true or not, it's clear that their brief marriage left some lasting scars. And as always, the drama is never too far behind. Stay tuned, honestly, because if history has taught us anything with J-Lo, this isn't the last time we'll hear actually from Ohani Noah either. I bet you didn't know this, and as if all the Diddy drama he's currently been facing wasn't enough, here's a story you've likely never heard that involves Jenny from the good old block. So Jennifer Lopez and Sean Diddy Combs dated way back in 1999 after he was a producer on her hit debut album On the Six. The pair split in 2001 and Lopez has remained tight-lipped about the pair's relationship, but in December of 1999, Sean Diddy Combs, Jennifer Lopez, his bodyguard Anthony Wolf Jones, and a 21-year-old rapper Jamal Shine Barrow, a Combs protege, were involved in a disagreement at Club New York in Manhattan that ended with blasting and left 3 people injured. Combs, Lopez, and Jones left the club and led police on a wild chase through New York City that ended with police finding a stolen firearm inside the car. Now, Netania Rubin, one of 3 people injured during the altercation, maintains Combs was the one who hit her that night and has renewed her accusation in recent days. Now, Combs and Lopez were arrested, detained, and initially charged for their involvement, but the charges were quickly dropped against Lopez. Combs, Jones, and Barrow faced charges related to firearm possession, and prosecutors alleged Combs and Jones attempted to bribe the driver of the car that left the nightclub to tell police the firearm was his in exchange for $50,000. I personally don't see a scenario where $50K is worth like any amount of jail time, but go off. After a weeks-long trial, Combs and Jones were acquitted, but a New York jury found Barrow guilty of 5 charges, including criminal possession of a firearm, aggravated harm, and reckless endangerment, though Barrow was acquitted of attempted homicide. Now, JLo actually didn't have much to say then nor now about the incident, but in a July 2000 interview, Lopez described the incident as a complete nightmare and saying that she was scared to death in the car. I had absolutely no idea what was going on. No one did. Since all of the recent Diddy drama has been happening, there has been a call to actually reopen the case, which would require a new or confirmed statement from Lopez. But will she give it? Likely not. Her lips are as sealed shut now as they were in 2000, just like a kiss from a rose. Now, you might be wondering, what does this have to do with JLo? How does this make her sketchy or like quote unquote evil? Well, it is alleged that the firearm that injured 3, with one actually hitting one woman in the face, was not only brought by JLo, but she allegedly handed it to Diddy the second he started getting into the altercation. So just let that one sink in. I want to actually get into some more juicy JLo drama. You remember her 2020 Super Bowl halftime show performance where she took the stage with Shakira, right? Well, it wasn't all footballs and butterflies, okay? Let it be known, there was no reported incident of JLo directly dissing Shakira. However, there were rumors of tension between them before and actually after their performance. So let's get into it. Some pre-performance rumors say that reports suggest Lopez and Shakira disagreed over set time and performance length, with Lopez allegedly being the difficult to please one in this instance. Now, rumors also indicated they both had very different artistic visions, but in the end, you guessed it, JLo won that battle and basically got everything she wanted, like a real true diva at any cost, it seems though, right? So now one rumor that hit a nerve for a lot of Shakira fans is that when Shakira was doing her like belly dancing, a lot of people saw JLo's reaction and basically said she looked disinterested, dismissive, and like essentially disapproving of Shakira's moves. I saw it. Shakira looked fire, like it's giving jealousy by JLo. Fans also speculated about tension between Lopez and Shakira based on their social media interactions. Shakira actually posted a pic on Instagram with both her and JLo in the shot, while JLo actually only posted one with just herself to promote the Super Bowl performance. Now, I'm not gonna lie, like I would definitely feel away if I was Shakira. And again, there's no direct evidence that support these claims that Lopez dissed Shakira, and both artists actually have maintained that they denied these rumors and have even praised each other's performances. So like whether there was actually any malice behind JLo's actions, I guess we'll never truly know. But what do you guys think though? Like big red flags or like a little baby pink one? I want to talk about JLo's lack of accountability, and this may not seem evil or like a red flag, but ask yourself this again once I'm actually done. So JLo has been accused of many things. Like, okay, let's forget that she's a diva in her own right, and maybe she has even like earned that title. But something she's been accused of can't just be overlooked so easy or chalked up to like, oh, she's just a Hollywood diva. You know, firstly, she's been accused of plagiarism. Now, not only with her music, but like with her music videos, and we're not just talking lyrics, but allegedly also taking vocals. So JLo has faced accusations of using Ashanti's, our R&B queen of the early 2000s, vocals without proper credit on several songs, like including I'm Real and Ain't It Funny. Ashanti had recorded demo versions of these songs, and parts of her vocals were allegedly used in the final tracks. That's wild. And like, despite all the claims being pretty strong and solid, JLo has quite honestly taken no accountability at all. Like, she actually hasn't even addressed the claims once. And she's also had quite a few lawsuits. So she's been sued for copyright infringement, breach of contract, and unfair business practices, all of which she hasn't addressed or taken any real accountability for either. Like, I love me a problematic queen, but this is a lot. Another horrible moment for JLo was in 2017 when she faced backlash after posting a message on Instagram expressing her support for unity and peace following protests in Charlottesville, Virginia. Now, her post included the hashtag All Lives Matter, which some interpreted as dismissive of the Matter movement, and critics argued that Lopez understood BLM's movement's purpose, and some felt that All Lives Matter downplayed systemic racism. Others criticized Lopez for her apparent ignorance of social injustice issues. So all in all, the consensus was that her post was insensitive and tone deaf. She did delete the post like literally 10 minutes later. Like, that's how quick and easy it is to get canceled in Hollywood, folks, so be careful. But will you be surprised if I tell you she not only did not take accountability, but she didn't publicly apologize either, explain any of it, or address it at all? Shocker.
JLo has made many enemies in her world, with many being those who work for her. They've leaked some awful details about her and shown just how horrible she is. Now, Gilly Liar had been a longtime assistant to JLo before she quit and went to work for Mariah Carey in 2013. It's been said that the main reason why she quit was because of JLo's boyfriend at the time, Casper Smart. Apparently, Casper was allowed to do whatever he wanted in the house, and this included him mistreating the staff members. That upset Gilly, a source told Radar Online. Casper always insisted that Jennifer's staff call him Mr. Smart, and even demanded that Gilly get him drinks. So it appears that JLo let her assistant get disrespected, which is just not okay at all, and it shows what kind of person she really is. Then there's the time when she got everyone to turn on her longtime makeup artist Scott Barnes. There had been a leak on JLo's team as they exposed to the press that JLo was planning on getting married to Mark Anthony. Now, JLo claimed that Scott was one of the employees who betrayed her, so she fired him and made everyone ignore him. The thing was, they never asked him about it though, they just fired him. Now, during an interview on the Jeff Probst show, he claimed that he didn't know anything about the wedding and wasn't the leak, but JLo's team still shunned him. Scott said, "Nobody would talk to me, it was like I had the plague." Then, when the truth came out that Scott did not leak the news or even know about the wedding ahead of time, he received a phone call from Jen, who Scott claimed said the following. It was like, "Hey, it was a big misunderstanding, you know we have a lot of stuff coming up and I really miss you, so let's just get back to work." Although Scott was very gracious about the whole thing, it appears that JLo did not apologize to him, and it's just crazy to me that he went back working for her and that no one put a stop to her behavior. Now, near the end of last year, Elon Musk was speaking on the Joe Rogan Experience when he began talking about JLo's criticism of the recently elected president and his remarks about Puerto Ricans. Elon then brought up JLo's personal history with Diddy as she dated him from 1999 to 2001. He said JLo was like his ex-girlfriend, and now all of a sudden she's warning people about this person, but how many people did she warn about Diddy? Oh, 0. Maybe we shouldn't trust her opinion. He added people in the music industry had to know that Diddy was doing these things. Where's that accountability? They had to know. Now, Ojani Noah, JLo's ex-husband, claimed that she was involved in Diddy's freak-offs that came up in his federal indictment. "I'm not on the list," Ojani wrote on Instagram. To those people and media outlets asking if I ever went or participated in that piece of Diddy's freak-off parties, no and no, never. But my ex-wife, Jennifer Lopez, aka JLo, did. Ask her. But in a shocking turn of events, one of her past assistants has come to her defense. Thea D'Souza, who worked with JLo on the 2002 film Made in Manhattan, posted a statement on Threads that said, "If you knew Jennifer Lopez, if you ever worked with her like I did, or if you were close with people who are like family to her like I am, you would know she did not have any idea about Diddy. She barely drinks, she's not a partier, she isn't a good time girl, she's a workaholic who uplifts women, and who was charmed by him for a brief time in her life." Now, Thea emphasized that JLo does not deserve to be conflated with Diddy's shocking and criminal misdeeds. So Thea claims that JLo is innocent in all of this, but she's the only one who's spoken out. You see, JLo is refusing to speak about her ex Diddy. She walked out of an autograph signing at AFI Fest 2024 when someone in the crowd asked her if she had any comments about Diddy and the allegations. The US Mirror tabloid reported that the singer left immediately stayed despite fans' pleas that she stay. And don't expect her to say anything. In May, after video footage of Diddy hurting his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura was brought to light, J-Lo stayed silent. Now, many of Diddy's other exes have spoken out against him, but not J-Lo. Though tabloid sources claim that the Cassie footage disgusted her, J-Lo was silent on the subject and has stayed that way. Sources are saying that Jen is not going to address the accusations or take time to talk about them because it's not her story to tell. If an interviewer brought it up, she would cross that path as and when it happens, but she won't address it publicly and will not put herself in that conversation on purpose. Then there was the fact when J-Lo and Marc Anthony's twins needed nannies, J-Lo gave them a grueling schedule. Now, normally people who make a lot of money, like J-Lo for example, have numerous people who help them with everyday tasks, especially childcare, as it can be so difficult. But Jennifer expected one nanny not only to take care of both twins, but to work 16-hour days, 7 days a week, as an insider told the National Enquirer. Now, unsurprisingly, the first nanny she hired left after just a week of working for her. They hired her second nanny, who was wonderful with the twins, but she couldn't take working such long hours without a break, a source said. So then she quit after just a week as well. And yeah, I don't blame them for quitting. I mean, that schedule is just unreasonable. Then in 2022, a girl named Kyla posted a TikTok saying that her dad worked for a company that J-Lo would hire for drivers. But apparently he heard so many bad stories about the star that he never wanted to be her driver. It said that J-Lo does not allow her drivers to look or talk to her. She's also so strict that if the driver looks through the rearview mirror and makes eye contact with her, she will freak out. Not to mention that she has a crazy rule that her luggage cannot touch the ground. Now, it appears that this story is real though, because one of J-Lo's former drivers sued her. Hakab Menokian claims he started driving for J-Lo and Marc Anthony in 2005. He said that the three of them had such a great bond that they convinced him to shut down his company and work exclusively as J-Lo's personal head of security and transportation. He claimed that J-Lo agreed to pay him more than $200,000 per year, but things went downhill in 2011. This is when Hakab claims he was forced to spend time with J-Lo's manager, Benny Medina. He claims that Benny hated him and even found a way to convince J-Lo to demote him, taking away his security responsibilities and making him J-Lo's LA driver, and that was it. Now, he says that he was basically forced to resign and then sued J-Lo and Benny for unspecified damages. J-Lo then countersued him for extortion, but her suit was dismissed in December 2012. Now, the two eventually settled on undisclosed terms, but that honestly just sounds like a horrible situation. And finally, one of J-Lo's backup singers, Julia Wang, posted on TikTok how horrible it was to work with the star. She said she was so mean to her backup singers. If you were pretty or if you were Latina, like, game over, she hated you. Julia also said that J-Lo refused to talk or even look at any of the singers during their rehearsals, except for an occasional eye roll or scoff, which is just crazy. She acted like a bully. Can you imagine spending time with someone working in a closed setting every single day for months, and this person never even acknowledging you or acting like you exist? She asked. And honestly, no, I can't. That sounds like a horrible work environment. Now, she also shared that J-Lo changes the way she acts when there are men present, and Julia added that she only treats the women poorly because she views them as competition. It seems like if you have anything to do with J-Lo, it would just be horrible.
Jennifer Lopez may have the glitz, the glamour, and the global fame, but behind the scenes plenty of celebrities have made it clear they cannot stand her. From diva behavior to messy industry feuds, J-Lo has racked up more enemies than you might expect. Mariah Carey, one of the most famous celebrity feuds of all time. Mariah has never hidden her disdain for J-Lo. When asked about Lopez in the early 2000s interview, Carey simply responded with 3 infamous words: "I don't know her." Now, that single line went viral and became pop culture history. Insiders claim Mariah's beef with Jennifer stems from industry drama back in the late 90s when their record labels clashed over music rights. There were even accusations that J-Lo's team used a sample intended for Mariah's album, sparking long-lasting resentment. To this day, Mariah Mariah doubles down on ignoring Jennifer's existence, and fans still debate whether J.Lo intentionally stepped on her toes. Rihanna. You might remember when Jennifer briefly dated Drake back in 2016. Well, that romance reportedly left Rihanna furious. Sources at the time claimed Rihanna felt betrayed since, she and J.Lo were on good terms before that little fling. Rihanna allegedly unfollowed Lopez on Instagram after seeing photos of her cuddled up with Drake, and the shade didn't stop there. Riri has never, but the cold shoulder spoke volumes. Fans noticed Rihanna avoiding questions about J.Lo ever since, which only fueled rumors that she completely cut her off. Leah Remini. Yes, J.Lo's supposed best friend. Now, Leah has publicly defended Lopez countless times, but behind the curtain, it hasn't always been smooth sailing. Industry whispers claim that Leah has grown tired of J.Lo's diva demands and self-obsession. Even though they've, been spotted together for years, many fans speculate their friendship has cracks, especially after Leah started, carving her own path in Hollywood, separate from Lopez. Rumors of a falling out began in 2022 when Remini did not attend Jennifer's wedding to Ben Affleck. Remini and others clarified that she did miss the wedding to help move her daughter into college, not because of a conflict with Lopez, but fans, have never been convinced of that and think otherwise. Now, while Leah would never ever trash Jennifer openly, the rumors about tension between them have not gone away. Madonna, the queen of pop, doesn't hand out compliments easily, and when it comes to J.Lo, she's been especially blunt. Madonna has allegedly mocked Jennifer's music skills in private circles, dismissing her as a dancer who got lucky. Now, the two have been seen at the same events but rarely interact, which has only kept the feud rumors alive. With Madonna's legendary reputation and J.Lo's, determined rise, it's no surprise that sparks flew between them in an industry that thrives on rivalry. Lastly, we have Nicki Minaj. Now, this feud played out publicly on live television. During their time on American Idol, Jennifer and Nicki reportedly clashed non-stop. Nicki accused J.Lo of acting superior and cold, while Jennifer seemed unimpressed with Nicki's over-the-top personality. Now, at one point, Nicki even called Jennifer disrespectful behind the scenes. Their on-air tension became so obvious that tabloids ran endless stories about the feud, cementing them as two stars who will just simply never get along. Jennifer Lopez's name has surfaced in a $400 million essay lawsuit against her ex-boyfriend Sean Diddy Combs. And let's be honest, it's hard to keep track of every Diddy accuser, but it's going to be difficult to not remember this one. The case, filed by Michigan inmate Derek Lee Cardello Smith, who, by the way, is serving his own decades-long sentence for an essay case of his own, alleges that Diddy spiked his drink and essayed him during a 1997 after-party. Court documents reveal plans to call Jennifer Lopez as a witness, citing her past relationship with the rapper from 1999 to 2001 as potentially helpful for providing relevant insights. Cardello Smith alleges he first met Diddy while working as a bartender. Now, he claims Diddy invited him to a private after party at a Detroit hotel where the rapper offered him a drink laced with an unknown substance. According to the lawsuit, Cardello Smith lost consciousness and later woke up to Diddy engaging in intimate acts with a woman. He alleges Diddy remarked, "I did this to you too," upon noticing he had regained consciousness. While Lopez has not publicly commented on the allegations, her potential involvement has captured widespread attention. Speculation suggests her testimony could provide crucial insights into Diddy's character during the time of their relationship. Now, the mention of Jennifer Lopez has added a new dimension to the case, fueling public interest and speculation, and while it remains unclear whether Lopez will testify or not, her involvement could influence the trajectory of the lawsuit and bring additional attention to the allegations against Diddy. Now, Diddy's legal team has labeled it as baseless, and that Cardello Smith mentioned two different locations for this alleged incident. They are also arguing that the claims were filed past the statute of limitations. So time will tell if J.Lo comments or gets involved in this or not. So keep your eyes and ears out for updates on this very bizarre case. Jennifer Lopez once got hotel staff fired for autograph requests, and this is one of just all kinds of ironic. Like, J.Lo has had a fair few movie roles under her belt. One of my personal guilty pleasures is Made in Manhattan, which came out in 2002. Now, in this movie, and much like Jennifer's own Hispanic roots, the character plays a Puerto Rican hotel maid trying to make ends meet while she cares for her young son as a single mom. Now, in 2012, in her real life, Jennifer's trip to Germany made major headlines because a hotel worker, who was also a maid, who's named Prey Dodage, was reportedly fired on the spot for requesting an autograph. According to sources, Prey asked her assistant for an autograph and was fired literally the next day for no reason. Prey would go on in a statement to say, "A day later, the cleaning company that employed me at the hotel called and said Miss Lopez had complained. I was fired right there on the phone." Prey had said she asked as politely as possible and didn't think it would cause such a frenzy and definitely not get her fired, but unfortunately it did. The hotel denied the rumors, as did JLo, who called the story hurtful. Of course, when Jennifer was being interviewed on playing a hotel worker in Made in Manhattan, she only had wholesome things to say, with her stating, "My character is just trying to make ends meet. I really relate to her. You shouldn't judge or discard people." Now, talk about putting your money where your mouth is, right? This secret is one she's been trying to keep under wraps ever since it happened, because not her playing a struggling maid and claiming she cares, but then gets a struggling maid fired for simply wanting an autograph. So to be so fair, I see how the maid would assume JLo would relate to her since, you know, she played this role like 10 years prior. Anyway, Jennifer Lopez has made it very clear that she is Jenny from the block. She has talked about growing up in the Bronx so many times, and honestly, I don't think there's a single person that doesn't know that. Now, Jennifer won't actually go to the Bronx, like she refuses to visit. Now, pulling yourself out of poverty is nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, it can be something to be proud of. A homeless Chris Pratt was once serving up shrimp and living out of an RV before he got famous, and Mila Kunis's family moved to the US with just $250 to their name. So while some celebs, you know, put their humble roots behind them and never look back, like I mentioned, a huge chunk of JLo's fame comes from repeating over and over that she's still Jenny from the block. She grew up in the Bronx and her family wasn't rich. JLo has even gone on the record and said, "I shared a bed with my two sisters." And yet she won't actually go back there. And despite growing up in poverty in the Bronx and writing a song about it, JLo only agreed to be in a vehicle commercial if she didn't actually have to go and film it in the Bronx. Now, this report centered around JLo's 2011 Fiat commercial, where the company figured it would be neat to film the star in her home territory. Fair. And while the ad appears to be in the Bronx, it was actually filmed in Los Angeles. Now, it was reported that JLo used a body double for the Bronx, which is insane. I literally have no words, but also I have so many questions. Like, why not just film in the Bronx? Was she scared? Does she feel too good to go there now? Is there someone she didn't want to run into? These answers we might never know, but what do you guys think the reason was? Now, Jennifer Lopez has been known to give very questionable interviews and has been accused many times of being rude to not only the person interviewing her, but to everyone else on the set as well. Now, one interview in particular that was very alarming was one she did when her song Waiting for Tonight came out. She was being interviewed actually by her sister on the set of her music video for that song, and she said that while they were setting up to shoot, they were playing music. Now, when she arrived on set, she was annoyed that the music they were playing wasn't hers. Now, remember, she is the one recounting this story. Then she goes on to say that she started to vibe with the music. It was dance and catchy, but she said she did so begrudgingly. Then when the chorus came on, she was actually like, "Oh, this is my song. That's why I like it." The music was actually a dance remix of Waiting for Tonight that she just didn't hear yet. So that's why she didn't know, of course, or recognize it at first. But a lot of people saw that interview and thought, wow, what a narcissist. Like, how odd she was for saying what she said. Like, no self-awareness at all. She was laughing at her story like she was the most charming person in the world, not the humble, Jenny from the block that she tries to portray. This isn't the first time something like that has happened though, and it's been reported many times that her own music must be playing at all times in her trailers and hotel rooms. Now, I totally understand you enjoying your own music. Actually, I can't really relate to that as I don't make music myself, but like, it's weird to me how insistent she is of this rule, and it's alleged that it's absolutely mandatory, and she will go into like a spiral if this demand isn't met. I think J.Lo repeatedly fails to read a perfectly legible room. The argument could be made that if she had any common sense, then she would have laid low for this whole entire past year. About 10 days before Thanksgiving 2023, the headlines were dominated by Cassie and Diddy drama and, the $30 million lawsuit. Now, there were several horrific interviews given by several former members of Diddy's entourage detailing horrible stories, and many claim J.Lo may have benefited from those horrible stories. Now, considering the plethora of other accusations still continuing to unfold many months later, J.Lo should have known or been advised to lay low or do some good to the world, give back to, the block she's always bragging about. But instead, she comes out with the most insufferable album / movie / documentary, whatever it was. The fact she had $20 million to lose for the trilogy of failures that she released, and at the same time was aware that her Catholic primary school and Catholic high school in the Bronx begged her for meager donations to remain in operation, and she gave them nothing, knowing the negative impact their dissolution would have on the block she sings about. One might say she deserves the slow burn of an extended downfall. Now, many critics have said that she lacks authenticity. One social media user said, aside from the fact that she has no actual singing talent and has been relying on the uncredited voices of other women like Ashanti and Christina Milian to carry her songs, she insists on pushing the narrative that she's a hood girl from the block, and it's become so obvious that everything about her is phony. No one from her old neighborhood claims her. She doesn't do anything for the community that supposedly made her who she is. In fact, everyone who's ever crossed paths with her as a service worker only has horrible things to say. Another person went on to say her latest projects reek of vanity and delusion. No one thinks Bennifer is the greatest love story never told. No one even asked for that. Even Ben seems embarrassed about it. And she tried to make this whole song and dance act about her life so deep and profound, but it's actually just completely unhinged nonsense that shows how out of touch of reality she really is. Now, a big secret J.Lo never wanted to get revealed but did is the story of how she shamelessly stolen songs and vocals from other artists. There has been allegations and controversy surrounding Jennifer's music and vocals over the years. Some critics and fans have accused her of using ghostwriters, auto-tune, and stealing vocals. One notable example is the controversy surrounding her hit single, If You Had My Love, in 1999. Now, some people claim that the song's vocals were not entirely J.Lo's, but rather a combination of her voice and that of a demo singer. Ashanti has even gone on interviews and said that they kept her vocals and ad-libs on the record, and in particular, J.Lo's song, I'm Real, was actually made for Ashanti. She even sang it, but it was given to J.Lo. Even the song What's Love by Ashanti and Fat Joe was supposed to be given to J.Lo, but Fat Joe actually stood on business on that one and made sure Ashanti stayed on that track with him, so good for him. Another notable example is the song Play from 2001, if you remember it, which was alleged to have used vocals from a demo recorded by, again, a different singer. J.Lo's team denied these allegations, stating that she has recorded the song herself. One of the most well-known shadiest moments towards J.Lo is, of course, the Mariah Carey moment. The feud between the two has been a topic of discussion for years, and it is the most notable instance when Mariah Carey said in an interview when asked about J.Lo, I don't know her. That phrase has become so iconic, and Mariah also threw shade at the allegation that J.Lo doesn't sing her own songs. In an article, Mariah once said she only slept 3 hours a night, in response to J.Lo saying she sleeps 8. She then followed it by saying, if I had the luxury of not actually having to sing my own songs, I would sleep 8 hours too. Shots fired. So, are you Team Mariah or Team J.Lo? Do you think she's guilty of every accusation thrown her way? Let me know what you think.
Now, J.Lo is a performer, not really a singer. I mean, J.Lo claims she performs and sings live, but that isn't always the case. In November of 2021, she was slammed by music fans for allegedly lip-syncing during her American Music Awards performance as she took the stage to carry out her brand new song, On My Way, Marry Me. An angry viewer ranted, "Come on with the overproduced singing, this commercial sounds exactly like her live vocals just did." A commenter pointed out, "Now why are you lip syncing? You have a great voice, just sing the song." Now this isn't the first time this has happened though, as in 2014 she was caught lip syncing her performance of "I Love Ya Poppy" on American Idol. And again, fans were not happy about this. But should we really even be shocked? I mean, JLo doesn't even sing her own songs in the studio versions. Now for example, her song "Play" is sung by AM to PM singer Christina Milian. Christina wrote the song and she sings Play's entire chorus. Ashanti has also lent her voice to JLo, playing it off as her own. In fact, you can hear her singing on "Ain't It Fun" and "I'm Real." Ashanti spoke about this in 2014 and said, "I wrote Ain't It Funny. I demoed the record for her before I was signed and they kept my hook and some of the background and ad-libs and stuff like that. It was bittersweet because I was really excited that it was JLo, but I was so mad at not being able to have the record for herself," she said. Shauna Harrell is also alleged to be responsible for some of the vocals in "If You Had My Love," and Makeba Riddick apparently is the voice behind "All I Have." Now the chorus from her song "Jenny from the Block" was rumored to have been sung by Natasha Ramos, who demoed the song. Now in fact, Natasha addressed the claims in 2019, tweeting, "JLo did indeed go in the studio and lay down some background vocals over mine. So I wouldn't say she's so much lip syncing, however the backgrounds are predominantly me and some ad-libs and laughs are as well." When fans found this out, they called out JLo for lying and branded the music industry trash and insisting that Jennifer should not be famous for work she never did. But Natasha then stood up for the star. She wrote, "Well, that's a little harsh. JLo is one of the hardest working women in business. In my opinion, she certainly deserves all her success. I just deserved more from that project too. That's on the label though, not Jennifer. It's all kind of history at this point, lol." But JLo has also been accused of straight up stealing songs from other artists. Now one of the stars who accused her of doing this was Usher in 2015. He claimed that she stole a song that he cast aside while recording his hugely successful album called Confessions. Usher claimed that JLo's single "Get Right" is actually a re-recorded version of Ride, a song he co-wrote the year before, which was only available online. He said, "I hate it, but I better get some of the publishing rights or else. I didn't put it on my album because I couldn't get it right, but I didn't expect JLo to just take it." Now, besides all of that, it's been revealed that JLo is a cheater. Now, Jennifer and Ben Affleck had an on-again, off-again romance that has been going on since the 2000s, with fans even nicknaming the couple Bennifer. Now, they just got divorced this year. It was a huge thing, but the timeline of their relationship in general is a huge red flag and included alleged cheating. So in July of 2002, Jennifer filed for divorce from her second husband, Chris Judd, citing irreconcilable differences. But this news broke just months after JLo wrapped the movie Gilgy alongside her then boyfriend Ben. Now even though she repeatedly denied cheating rumors, Ben took out an ad in The Hollywood Reporter gushing about JLo before her divorce wasn't yet finalized. In fact, even Chris Judd's father Larry spoke out against the couple and accused JLo of being unfaithful to his son. He insinuated that the affair started during the filming of Gilgy, saying, "I thought Mr. Affleck would honor a married woman and not just go right into the trailer." He added that she'd be happier if she just tell the truth, and no one in her little circle is going to say one negative thing about her. Now this is quite ironic because just years before, JLo accused Diddy of cheating on her and how heartbroken it left her. Now, I have to bring up JLo's infamous movie line interview in 1998. Now, this very well could have ruined JLo's career, as at the time she was 27 and fresh off the success of her film Selena. Now, she basically decided to trash all other celebrities that were big at the time and tried to trivialize their career and their contributions to the industry. In fact, when asked about Madonna, JLo actually said, "Do I think she's a great performer? Yeah. Do I think she's a great actress? No. Acting is what I do, so I'm harder on people when they say, oh, I can do that, I can act. I'm like, hey, don't spit on my craft. Now this was so ironic because JLo would go on to do both music and acting for the rest of her career, and critics also trashed her acting on the big screen. Also, at the time, Madonna had been a star for a lot longer than JLo, so there was really no comparison there. And when Gwyneth Paltrow was brought up, Jennifer almost seemed to laugh and made it clear that she didn't take her fellow actress's career seriously. Tell me what she's been in. I swear to God, I don't remember anything she was in. Some people get hot by association. I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard about her work, she said. Now, yikes, this did not go over well, and hey, I can't blame the celebrities she dissed for being upset. Now this year, Jennifer recently released her documentary on Amazon Prime called This Is Me Now, A Love Story, which gave behind the scenes looks into her new album This Is Me Now and the accompanying movie The Greatest Love Story Never Told. Now some fans who watched it though took to social media to call Jen out for her lies. In one scene, Jennifer poses in the mirror of her personal gym as she shakes out her hair and reminisces about her childhood in the Bronx. I feel like taking my hair out like this, it reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx, running up and down the block, crazy little girl who used to be wild and no limits, all dreams, she said. However, a TikTok user, Photos by Angela, slammed the star in a series of videos as she claimed to have gone to the same Catholic high school as Jennifer and accused her of lying about her experience living in the Bronx. She said, "We both attended an all-girls high school in an Irish and Italian neighborhood, so you weren't running up and down the block." In fact, the Bronx is a place that JLo actually avoids. Now, how do we know this? Well, due to a commercial she filmed. The commercial is from 2011, and the caption to it on YouTube says, "This commercial is titled My World and is voiced over by Lopez, who is seen driving a Fiat 500 Cabrio as she travels through the streets of Manhattan to the Bronx where she grew up." The new ad explores her personal take on how life in the New York City borough continues to inspire her to be tougher, to stay sharper, and think faster. But this ad backfired when it was reported that she never actually went to the Bronx to film the ad, and that a body double stand-in was used instead. And I mean, if you watch the ad knowing this information, it's pretty obvious. I mean, why not just ditch JLo and use a different celebrity who would actually show up on set? Now, it's just crazy that they let her get away with this.
Before we get into the best worst interview that Jennifer Lopez has ever sat for, we need to discuss her most famous public feud that left a bad taste in the land of lambs. If you don't know what I mean by that, well, try and keep up. We're about to dig into JLo's feud with the self-proclaimed Christmas queen, Mariah Carey. And yes, lambs are what Mariah Carey's fans call themselves. Now, this feud has been going on for like decades. The feud to the public's eye started when Mariah Carey claimed she didn't know who Jennifer Lopez was. When asked about Jennifer Lopez in a 2008 interview, Mariah Carey famously said, "I don't know her." However, this feud actually began between the two back in the late 1990s when Lopez signed a record deal with Sony Music Entertainment and started working with Carey's then husband, Tommy Mottola. Now, this was actually a pivotal moment in JLo's career, and at the time, Mottola was the chairman and CEO and played a significant role in shaping JLo's early success. And to give you a little bit more context, he was very instrumental in launching the careers of various artists, including Mariah Carey, Celine Dion, Destiny's Child, and Shakira. So yeah, he was like a big man on campus. Now, Tommy was known to be a very hands-on manager. He worked very closely with Lopez to develop her sound and image, and this of course had an impact on his personal relationship with Mariah, which in turn caused tension between Carey and Lopez. But that's not the only reason why there was beef. Like, it is reported that Mottola actually stole music from Mariah to give to Lopez and build her up. Now, when Mariah Carey released her book, The Meaning of Mariah, in 2020, it actually showcased her very toxic relationship with Mottola, and when referencing Lopez, she refers to her as the one who must not be named. It is reported in her book that a sample Mariah was set to use for her new song Loverboy, out of spite due to Mottola and Carey's breakup, Mottola rushed to have it be used by another artist on the label. And although not named directly, we are led to believe that artist is Jennifer Lopez. Now, Mariah Carey said this was sabotage, like plain and simple. Mariah did change the sample in order to make Loverboy, and she did have the last laugh because Loverboy went on to become the best-selling single of 2001. So like, I completely get Mariah being salty towards JLo for this whole situation, but you do have to wonder how much JLo had to say or even really knew what was going on. I mean, in my humble opinion, I think Mottola played them both and set both of them up for disaster. It seems like he intentionally created scenarios and a dynamic between the two that would, of course, cause them to hate each other. Now, in an interview with Andy Cohen, he asked JLo if she had any problems with Mariah Carey. JLo responded by saying, "I don't have a feud against her at all. I know from back in the day, I've read things that she said about me that were not the greatest, but we have never met. We don't know each other." She even went on to say, "I would love to meet her and I would love to be friends with her." I'm sorry, girl. I honestly don't think Mariah feels the same at all. Let's get into JLo's most high-profile breakup. You already know who I'm about to mention. Yes, Ben Affleck. What's crazy about this one is that she had two high-profile breakups with him. Once in 2004 and then 20 years later in 2024. Now, Lopez and Affleck, or better known collectively as Bennifer by the press, met while filming Geely. We'll get into that one in a bit. And they got engaged in 2002. Their wedding was postponed multiple times due to media attention, and once in 2003, just one day before the ceremony, they made a joint statement that said, "Due to the excessive media attention surrounding our wedding, we have decided to postpone the date." When we found ourselves seriously contemplating hiring 3 separate decoy brides at 3 different locations, we realized that something was awry. We began to feel that the spirit of what should have been the happiest day of our lives would be compromised. We felt that what should have been a joyful and sacred day would be spoiled for us, our families, and our friends. So after that statement, they briefly split up, but then they actually rekindled their relationship, but then eventually called it off just 3 days before the wedding in January of 2004. Jennifer also told People magazine, and I quote, "We didn't try to have a public relationship, we just happened to be together at the birth of the tabloids. It was just a lot of pressure." Ben shared the same sentiments, and although it's reported that it was the pressure that was the main cause of their split, they also had conflicting schedules that made it really difficult to maintain a healthy work-life balance, and it is said that the couple had different views on what to share publicly, which led to like a lot of conflict and tension. Now, at the time, Lopez described the breakup as the biggest heartbreak of her life, and saying that it felt like her whole bleeping world exploded. It even made her question if she belonged in the entertainment business. She said it took her 2 years to get over Ben, meaning when she was married to Mark Anthony, she still had strong feelings for Ben. So that kind of sounds like a rebound to me, right? Now, the couple's relationship captivated audiences and reminded people that even glamorous relationships can and will face challenges. Jen and Ben literally went on to live 2 totally separate lives, but they did always remain on friendly terms and supportive of one another. Ben would go on to marry Jennifer Garner, with whom he has 3 children with, and JLo rebounded onto Mark Anthony, with whom she had twins Max and Em with. Ben continued his acting career, starring in films like Hollywoodland, The Town, Argo, and more, and Jennifer released several albums, including Rebirth in 2005, Brave in 2007, and Love in 2011. She even judged on American Idol from 2011 to 2016. Now, let's not forget her acting career though, because listen, I do really love me a good JLo rom-com, and she kept busy starring in movies like Maid in Manhattan, Shall We Dance, Monster-in-Law, and in the more recent years, Second Act, Hustlers, and Shotgun Wedding. It's safe to say they both evolved as individuals and continued to grow while they were apart. Now, fast forward to April 2021, Lopez and Affleck rekindled their romance and were spotted together after they both separated from their other partners. In May, they both went on a trip to Montana together, and in July 2022, the couple secretly married in Las Vegas at the Little White Chapel. Sadly, for all Bennifer fans, this was short-lived as their marriage came to an end in August of 2024, when Lopez filed for divorce without a lawyer, citing irreconcilable differences. Now, a bit of deja vu here, because although I'm sure there were several factors that contributed to the breakdown of the relationship, but according to sources close to Lopez, Ben's discomfort with the paparazzi attention was a significant issue. Boy, like, I'm gonna need you to get yourself all the way together. Like, she was JLo in 2004. She's still JLo in 2024 too. Like, what's insanity again, doing the same thing and expecting a different result, right? Anyway, additionally, Affleck was apparently uncomfortable with Lopez's decision to share private love letters with her music team. I actually don't think many fans were shocked though, because the months leading up to the split, there were so many signs of trouble. The couple was rarely seen together, and when they were, Ben looked so miserable, like just down astronomically bad. And there's even one video that looks to be Ben slamming the car door in Jennifer's face while out running errands. Just not a good look. And to every person watching that video, it signaled the beginning of the end. Now, this second split from Ben, of course, was devastating to Jennifer fans worldwide and shocked many. Actually, no, it didn't really shock too many, to be honest, but it was sad, like, nonetheless. Okay, before I send you guys off with JLo's most infamous interview that almost ruined her career, I first want to talk about JLo's worst film. Not Jersey Girl, which was bad, not Atlas, also bad, and not U-Turn, which I bet you haven't even heard of that one, so you're welcome. No, let's talk about Geely. And to be fair, it's so bad, it's still not good. She actually should have won a Razzie for it, honestly. But to give you the quickest synopsis possible, Geely, played by Ben Affleck, is ordered to kidnap the psychologically challenged younger brother of a powerful federal prosecutor. Now, when plans go wrong, Geely's boss sends in Ricky, played by Jennifer Lopez, a gorgeous, like, free-spirited female gangster who has her own set of orders to assist with the kidnapping. But Geely begins falling for the decidedly unavailable Ricky, which could be a hazard to his occupation. Geely is widely regarded as one of the worst films of the 2000s. It has like a confusing storyline, underdeveloped characters, cringeworthy dialogue, and the acting is honestly horrible. And not just from Jen, but like from literally every person starring in the film. And there's a lot of big actors in the film. But it's not any interview for that film that almost blew up her career and status in Hollywood. No, it's actually a 1998 interview with Movie Line. In this interview, she criticized several actresses' acting skills, saying that most were not good actresses and implying that acting is a craft that requires dedication and hard work. She went for Madonna, and to quote, she said, "Do I think she's a great performer? Yes. Do I think she's a great actress? No." She then went on to make even bigger mistakes by saying negative comments about other actresses, including Cameron Diaz, where she says, "A lucky model who's been given a lot of opportunities I just wish she would have done more with. She's beautiful and has a great presence, though." And then went in on Gwyneth Paltrow saying, "Tell me what she's been in. I swear to God, I don't remember anything she was in. Some people get hot by association. I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard about her work." Yes, she said all of that about Gwyneth Paltrow, like who would go on a few months later to win an Oscar. Her comments about Madonna, however, sparked a feud between the two, with Madonna later responding that Lopez couldn't sing. The interview was widely reported and created a media frenzy, damaging JLo's reputation and relationships within the industry. Lopez did apologize for her statements and said they were taken out of context and misquoted, but the damage was done, and it even made Lopez consider quitting the industry altogether. I just think it's funny that JLo had so many opinions on who is or isn't a great actress, as if she is a great actress herself. None of her critiques aged well, and most can be said about her today if we're being honest. The thing is too, is that some of what she said had some truth, but the problem is whose mouth it came out of. She does not have a leg to stand on, and although I'm a fan of JLo's rom-coms, I still don't think she then nor now is in any position to throw shade when it comes to acting. What do you guys think though? Does JLo deserve more acting credit? You think she'll ever win an Oscar?